Hey guys, I'm replacing the oil pressure switch and the oil pressure sender on this Indmar 5.7 liter on a Malibu Response, and just wanted to do a quick video of it. These pressure switches will sometimes get a little gunked up and leak oil, and that's my problem. I'm getting oil in my bilge coming out from that. And then also, since I've had this boat, the oil pressure on the actual gauge is pretty erratic, so that's why we're going to replace that sender. And it's pretty easy. The first thing, you're just going to have to disconnect these two wires. There's one on the actual sender, and then there's also one on the switch. And then once those are disconnected, you just got to loosen everything up and put the new ones back on. All right, and for the Indmar 5.7 liter, these are the replacement parts. I'm usually not a crazy endorsement for Sierra. As long as it's not electrical, I don't have a problem using them. And these parts are kind of perishable, so you replace them every few hundred hours anyways. But these are the two that we're going to put back on. All right, whenever you're taking off the actual sending unit here, be careful to not over torque it up, because it's all just attached to this one little arm, and it moves quite a bit. So if you're cranking on that, make sure you're trying to hold that down so you're not going to damage the actual housing and all this stuff screws into. All right, and once you get that big guy off, I do recommend taking head off first, so then you can actually get a little more room to be able to get the pressure switch off, because it's kind of a difficult one to crack loose. Well, this isn't exactly what I had in mind, but this thing was so tight I ended up backing it out off of the block. So I just ended up pulling it all the way out. So I'm going to have to put this on a vise to be able to get the actual pressure switch off this one. And here's everything once you get it apart. And while you got this already out, I would go ahead and tighten on the new one. The package actually says do not do it tighter than 20 foot-pounds, but I'm not a measured instrument, so I just tightened it till it was snug, and it was pretty hard to even start it to get on there, so it's going to be a little tight getting it far enough on. All right, guys, and this should be your final product. I got both the wires. Make sure you got the correct ones. Mine are pretty easy to identify just because they came with colored collars like that. So once everything's tightened up, just slide these back on. You're good to go, and just make sure when everything's running and started up, you're not going to have a drip. I ended up tightening this whole fitting. That's why it's kind of slanted upward a little bit towards the front, just to get it back on the block tight enough so it's not going to leak all over the place. So hopefully this fixes the problem.